Hi students, in the last class we have discussed the taxonomic aids, okay, herbarium, botanical garden, zoological parks and museums that we have discussed. So today we are going to study about another taxonomic aid that is known as taxonomic keys, okay, the taxonomic keys. So what is meant by a taxonomic key? It is a series of contrasting statements that is used in the identification of plants and animals. Okay, it's a series. Taxonomic key is a series of contrasting statements that are helpful in the identification of what plants and animals. So from these contrasting traits, from these contrasting characters or statements, we will accept only one. The other one is rejected. You just look here. So I have written here a contrasting statement is written. So beings present and beings absent. Okay. So this is a contrasting statements. These two are what? Contrasting statements. So this type of a number of contrasting statements can be seen in a taxonomic key. Okay. So here a pair of contrasting statements. A pair of these contrasting statements is known as a couplet. Okay, so this is one contrasting statement. Okay, beings present, beings absent. A contrasting statement. It's a pair. So this pair is known as what? A couplet. So in each couplet there are two what? Two sentences are there. Okay, so each statement, there are two statements. So each statement is known as a lead. Okay. So a pair of contrasting characters, contrasting statement is known as a couplet. Each couplet we can see the statements. So here each statement is known as what? A lead. Okay. So we have to study about, we just know a brief, we must have a brief knowledge on what? The two types of taxonomic keys. So here we have to study about the two types of taxonomic key. They are yoked or indented key. Yoked or indented key. The next one is bracketed key. Indented key and bracketed key. Okay. So now we are going to study about this one. Here this indented key. Okay. Now we are going to study about the indented key. Okay. So this is the model of the indented key. So what is meant by an indented key? You know this one, this type of key, it provides a sequence of choice. It provides a sequence of choice in between the statements. Okay. So here this one is a statement. So in between this statement there is some choice. So here this is a statement, these are choice. So this type of key provides a sequence of choice between the different statements. Okay. Then this key require the leads of the couplet. You know all these are what? Leads of the couplet. This one is a couplet, then here this is the leads. Okay. Then it require the leads of the couplet a equal distance from the left margin. An equal distance from the left margin. An equal distance here. Equal distance. An equal distance from the left margin. It require the leads of the couplet a equal distance from the left margin. Okay, then what? The sequence of choice. It gives a sequence of what? Choice in between these characters. Okay. Now I given a key for the identification of a vertebrate. Okay. So now I am going to give you an example. Okay. Just look here. Now I am going to identify this animal. Okay. I don't know in which vertebrate group does this animal belongs. I don't know that. Okay. Anyway, I am going to identify this animal. To which group does this animal belongs? I am going to identify by using this indented key. Okay. You just look here. The first character is what? External ears present. So when I read this one, I must watch here. Okay. I must observe this animal. External ears. There is no external ear. Okay. So next I am going to here. Okay. Here this one, wings present. There is no external ear. So we can just go here. That is what? External ear absent. Present or absent. Okay. So there is no external ear. Okay. Then legs present. Then without legs. So this animal does not have legs. Okay. Then here coming what? It contains gills. Now just look here and you can see that here we can see the gills. Okay, gills are present. Okay, we can see the gills. Okay, so gills are present. So I have just identified this animal what? This is a fish. Okay, external ear absent and what? Without legs, there is no leg, and it contains what? Gills. So the animal is what? Fish. So I have just identified this animal by using this what? Indented key. Okay. So now, so what are the characters? That is what? The sequence of choice. It gives a sequence of choice, and it requires the leads of the couplet a equal distance from the left margin. From the left margin, it must need what? An equal distance for what? The leads of the couplet. Okay. Now we are moving to the next type of key. That is what? Bracketed key. Okay. Now we are moving to the next key. That is what? Bracketed key. Okay. So here in this type of key, the choices are given side by side. Okay. The choices are given side by side, and the choice is given a number in the bracket. Each choice, it is given a number in the bracket. You can see a bracket here. So hence the name what? Bracketed key. Okay. So here choices are given side by side, and choice is given a number in the bracket. So by using this one also we can easily identify this animal. Okay. This fish can be easily identified by using this key also. Okay. Here what? External ear present. If external ear present, we have to move to what? The second here. Okay. So here what? External ear is absent. So we have to go to the third couplet here. Okay. External ear is absent. There is no external ear. So third one. Wings present. If wings are present, it is what? Bird. So wings absent. So here there is no wings. Okay. So I am moving to where? The fourth one. The limbs present. If limbs are present, it was what? Frog. Then here there is no limbs. So what? Limbs absent. So I must go to number 5. So in the 5 we can see what? The gills are present. Gills are present. So you can see the gills here. So it is what? It is the fish. Okay. So in this way we can easily identify. I have given here a very simple example for what? Indented as well as for what? Bracketed keys. Okay. And now we are moving to the last section of our first chapter. Okay. That is what? The biological classification. The systems of biological classification. Okay. Now we are going to discuss the system of biological classification. The system of biological classification. There are mainly 4 systems of biological classification. Okay. The first one is artificial system, then natural system, phylogenetic system, and the phenetic system. So these are the 4 systems of biological classification. Okay. So here look here, this one, the artificial classification. This type of classification, it is based on the external similarities of the organisms. Here we are considering only the external similarities of the organisms. Now for example, its habitat or the ability to fly. Okay, so if you are taking this example, that is the ability to fly, we can see two types of organisms. That is what? Those organisms which can fly and which does not fly. Okay, so if you're taking that example, you can see that bats, birds and insects, all these can fly. All of these diverse organisms may come under the same group. Okay, so there are so many demerits for this type of artificial classification. The name associated with this system of classification is what? Planing. Okay, it is the name the scientist associated with this artificial system of classification. Here we are considering what? The external similarities, the superficial similarities between the organisms. Okay, the next coming what? The natural system. Here it is based on the natural affinities among organisms. Here we are considering external as well as some of the internal factors, external as well as internal characteristics of organisms. Okay. John Ray was the first one who proposed this type of classification, and this classification avoid the occurrence of unrelated organisms, the inclusion of unrelated organisms in the same group. Okay. Now we are moving to the next one, that is what? Phylogenetic classification. It is based on the basis of what? Evolution. Fossils play a very important role in this type of phylogenetic classification. Lamarck and Charles Darwin are the two scientists who is associated with this type of, that is phylogenetic type of classification. Okay. The last one we are going to discuss is what? The phenetic system of classification. In the absence of fossils, it will be very difficult to organize, to classify the organisms by using what? The phylogenetic classification. So at that time we may need some other criteria or some other additional methods. Okay. So these are some additional methods to classify these organisms. Okay. So for example, that we have discussed in the last class. Okay. Here numerical taxonomy. That is what? The use of computers. Here codes and numbers are used to assign. These are used to assign what? Different characters of organisms. Okay. Then what? Cytotaxonomy. Here cytological relationship in structure and number of chromosomes. Okay. It is based on the cytological relationship in the structure and number of chromosomes. Then coming the chemotaxonomy. It is based on the similarities in the chemical constituents of organisms. Based on the similarities in the chemical constituents of organisms. The last one is the cladistic taxonomy. That is what? It is based on the branching pattern of evolution. The branching pattern of evolution. Okay. So these are the 4 systems of classification. We must have a brief idea regarding these four systems. Okay. So now we are going to wind up this section. Okay. So far we have discussed what the taxonomy keys and the systems of biological classification. So by this class we are going to wind up. We have just reached in the last section of this chapter. Okay. So in the next class we will discuss another chapter, the next chapter, that is what? Biological classifications will be discussed in the next class. So you may just go through your textbook. Okay. If you find any difficulties, you just notice me. Okay. I will do my best. Okay. Then if you arise any doubts, okay, you just call me or you can message me. So see you in the next class. Okay. Thank you.